Are you ready? Let's get it. Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullah, peace and blessings, and keep up the lessons. Stumbled a little bit on there. Yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm back again. This is the third video, continuation of my reaction to this gentleman Dynast Amir's video. You know, pretty much, and you probably already know the name to give you the title again is Black Muslim Leadership Silent About African Genocide in the Arab World, with Kiata Kamara, and then there's other people on the panel that's speaking. I'm going to be touching on some of those other guys' statements, because I pretty much touched on Kamara's mistakes and errors, of course, because he doesn't have the knowledge about Islam to that extent, to really be speaking about it, and the rest of them as well, even Dynast as well. And look at, one thing I wanted to talk on is that when he said genocide, so again, to clarify, some words are used for reasons, and even in YouTube, we got, you got what they use certain pictures, certain thumbnails, use certain wording to be like very attractive to viewers, and especially if you're used to having your high level amounts of viewers and stuff like that. And that's understood. You're trying to get, especially you doing this as a business and so forth, and all the YouTube guidelines that they give you to help you to be able to, increase your viewers with your content. And your content has to be catchy, has to be attractive. So certain statements and words are used to be able to be like clickbait. You understand? And that's what they call it. That's one of the, things that they call it by today, as far as certain things that you have on your content that are very, very attractive to people, and they'll click it real quick, easy, because the thumbnail usually is visual, and then even the text and the writing is what is being said. So genocide is a very touchy thing. That word right there, that this guy Dynast used, and I've been picking this thing apart as I go and watch it again and over, because that's how I am. I like to really go through things and then find out and see what's really going on. It may take me a few videos to really clarify what the stuff these people are saying and bring my position and my perspective of it. But it's basically, I try to bring proofs. I try to bring things like I brought the sheikh in the other video before the second part. This is part 3, continuation. So that is a real serious matter. You got to be careful, because that's a very stereotypical word. It's not even necessarily a stereotypical word. It is a word, and it can be factual in certain cases, but it's stereotypical when it is not. It doesn't have any basis of proof to say, okay, that Arab people in the Arab world, as they say, have been genocidally attacking, and genocidally meaning killing off blacks, killing off African people from Africa, black Africans, to say, right? Genocide. He used that, and it's in his title. Why? Why use that word? Why not use attacks, or victimizing, like this? And the same when they use slavery to try to. It's called clickbait. Bait up our people with the emotions already there. We already have emotions. We already messed up. We already been victimized. So now we're going to become oppressors, because we are not really learning how to deal with that victimization and that trauma. It's more mental trauma, because we didn't experience the trauma that our ancestors did. None of us, because we didn't live that time. But it's more mental. So you haven't gotten past that mental, because you don't have no basic thing and way to help you to get past that. Then all this wording, running mouths, and books and lectures and stuff to boast up the people's, emotions, and push the people to go in areas that they're not being patient, they're not gradually learning, not finding out how to oversee the matters that happened, and say, those people did it. And that person did it. Not all of these people did it. And this is the point. You understand what I'm saying? And those people were bad humans. And these people were good humans. Those whites that did die when they committed, while their counterparts and their people were oppressing, which were a majority at that time when slavery took place over there, the African, slavery that went on, transatlantic slavery. But then even the Arabs, they were not all Arabs that was doing the slave trades when the Arabs did their slave trade of the Saharan through the Sahara Desert and all those areas and those lands of the African parts of those of Africa. Okay, the history that is there, the stories and everything that was recorded. It wasn't all of them. And then when it first happened, it didn't happen from just slave trading. It happened through basic different other factors, wars, and then wars and people who were imprisoned and they were traded in as ownerships. Because in the wars, then they had control over these people, and they felt that they had ownership over them. This is what happened, and these were Africans that did this to other Africans and put them in the hands of their slave masters. Yes, or the slave traders. Yes, we know this. This is documented. But it's all the fervor, all this trauma, mental trauma, we call mental slavery too. Because mental slavery is not just the mental slavery that we got from the oppressor. It's what we continue to ourselves to be in. Traumatic, the traumatic results. Like a person who gets victimized, a rape victim, sometimes they can turn into being negative with their traumatization, being traumatized. They can do evil stuff. They become hateful of all men. A woman that gets raped by one man, or she becomes hateful of men to the point where she doesn't want to be with men, and she chooses to decide to be with women. This is one of the things that how women go into that other lifestyle of sexual or sexual gender choice. And I'm not going to get into making the statement of what it is because you have you have the rules here that we have to follow, and you got to step on pins and needles, or else your video might be canceled or blocked or whatever, and then you may close your whole countdown depending on who comes at you. But anyway, the point I'm saying is that these guys, they really got beyond themselves, and I'm going to just clarify certain things on it. So I'm going to bring up the video again, and the stuff that they've been saying, and just kind of we got to be revealed. We have to be revealed. We have to. Okay, so let's get into what is being said at this point, and then I'll talk about it.
No one can say America's business is not my business. No.
Oh, this is a guy. He's a Jamaican guy. His name is I Can Fire. I Can Fire. So I think he's been with a lot of these YouTube platforms and streams with like Dynast himself, as he knows Dynast, as he says, and he gives him a compliment. And one time I came upon him too, and he questioned me. And when I have videos about one of my run-ins with a guy that I ran into, and he was really, really, really very, very disrespectful to my faith, to our faith of Islam. That's for us Muslim brothers and sisters who are watching. And he tried to railroad me into what he wanted me to believe and to agreeing upon certain statements he made in relation to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ being for slavery and had his own slaves and stuff like that. So this guy was there too, and he was questioning amongst one or two West Africans and the person who was actually running the video and the stream. She was a female. So anyway, go ahead. Let's go ahead and let us listen to what he's saying.
No one can tell me um, African business is not my business. But this is what I want to say about the movement of the Islamic movement, or my black people in the Islamic movement. We gotta analyze that you didn't start it, so let's go where it started, and we have to understand that these people are hypocrites. It's like this, okay? They are fully, almost practically say totally against Christianity, right? And Christians, right? In fact, they have formulated ways to turn our boys against our Christian other people in Africa, right?
Okay, so again, he's stereotyping. Okay, he's stereotyping as well as the others. And they're known, this is their tactic, this is their way. They're known for doing that, people. Especially to our Muslim brothers and sisters here that are listening and viewing. Because, like I said, some of you that are not from Islam and that are very much in indulging in this stuff, then you don't like what I'm saying, and that's understood. Hey, I'm not here for you. I'm here for the cause. I'm not here for any particular person. So if you come in and you listen and you don't like it and you want to get out, click out, or you don't want to subscribe and you don't want to, that's understood. I mean, I'm not a person who tries to just get views because I want to basically be on stage. I want to be in a high position of having views and all that. I would like to be able to get money back and monetize my videos from what I do and produce and put the time in that I do. But it's not important because what's more important is the content, what I'm actually saying, and what I'm putting out there to you. What is coming out, and that's why we have to also be responsible and very, very careful with what we're saying. And I try my best. Now I'm not perfect. I might make mistakes. I might say the N word. I might do it, but I try to say why I said it, and I try to clarify behind the content or the context of what I'm saying and talking about to bring that negative word out. You understand, or other things. And even when I talk about other people's sexual orientations, okay, and not to go against them and talk against them and say that they should be this, that should happen to them, and no. You can never catch me with saying nothing like that. They choose their life. That's their life, and everybody has to choose their own. And I don't talk against you if you don't bring it to me. But if you bring it to me, or if it's something I have to speak on, I'm gonna speak on it. I'm gonna speak on, oh, this is wrong because Allah says it's wrong. That's clear. I'm not gonna turn away from that if I have to. But if I don't have to, I'm not. And if I'm on somebody else's platform that I've learned, especially recently, you got to be careful because you don't want to harm the person who's running that platform or running that what's the name, mess up his situation or their situation. So I've learned that I stay in my place, stay in my lane, and talk in my area, and relinquish myself from having to be suppressed and not being able to voice what is truth to the fullest extent, not just talk around it, but get to the point. Okay. So basically, only time I talk around something is because of YouTube and the rules, and I'm not trying to take myself out of the fold of being able to be able to continue to be a voice. But anyway, get to the point. This guy is talking about the people not being for Christianity, and this is that's, like I said, stereotype. It's fallacy. I'm not for Christianity as what is taught from the corrupted parts of that which we come through evidence. This is evidence. This is nothing that just we're saying because we don't like Christianity. It's because of the evidence and the life and the styles and the things that have gone on through the times of the people who profess to be Christian as well. Their actions and how they put out and what they portray to the world, and let alone their text, the Bible, and the corruption that has been done to it. Because before it became Biblio, and then now it's called the Bible. It was the Torah. It was the Old Testament. and then later on they make a New Testament. I don't know if Jesus, if you ever hear in any of his statements, he says, "This is my New Testament to mankind." Don't know. All I know is that when Isa was around, Jesus was around, he was speaking to his people mainly to get them correct and to bring the commandments back to them because they left off from that. But that's a whole nother story, whole nother videos. I'm going to be doing a video back on Jesus' life again. So I'm going to try to get back into that, inshallah. So also don't forget to subscribe, those of you who are new, and also click the like button if you like this video. And, if you want to get involved in it, then you can go back to the other video and understand, because the only reason why I'm doing these videos is to try to give you a better understanding of what's going on in relation to what this person brought, and that you know what Islam truly is from a Muslim position, a real Muslim, not Nation of Islam. Okay, and I'm not trying to talk negative against them, but I'm talking facts. They're not Muslim. They practice a portion of what Islam is in different points and different positions of what they take, but they don't practice Islam as Allah says what a Muslim is, and as the Prophet says what a Muslim is. They don't practice. That's the requirements. There's requirements to be a Muslim. You can't just say I'm a Muslim because it's symbolic and it seems like you seem good because you implement certain things that Islam has. No, there's requirements, and the main requirement is that you bear witness that Allah is the only one deity worthy of worship, not the Master Fard Muhammad, that is supposed to be a human God in a sense, in what they believe. He was in the form of Allah. You know, and that the Prophet Muhammad is his last enslaved and final messenger. This is called Shahada, not the Prophet, not the Apostle Elijah Muhammad, as they called him. They call him and consider him. Okay, so that's just with the point of the other videos that speak about with the Nation of Islam and these brothers, these men that are there. They're saying that they're Muslim, black Muslims. They say Muslim. They don't even say it right. There's a lot of knowledge that these people have to do. They have to study. They got to learn and start running their mouths. Learn something before. If you're going to talk about another belief, that's another thing. You need to sit down and learn and study it better, because you really sound ridiculous, and you sound like you just running off your mouth and coming off your hip with stuff and taking pieces of stuff, copy and pasting from Google and stuff that you find and you see. This is the Google generation. This is the YouTuber generation. I came back to YouTube to do what I did when I first started in 2007. And all it is, I just use this as a tool to get the word out, call the people to Islam. That's what I was doing from the beginning. Most of my videos, if you look back, is based on Islam, not trying to just talk and get viewers. That's not where I was coming from. I don't know about these guys, and then also now I got into the path of the repad and the Afrocentricity of the African diaspora, knowledge and learning about our people and our ancestry with DNA and all this and stuff, and trying to go back to Africa and get it back to where it was, and on a better level, better than before, if any. And our people of that land, like all the other continents, that they have their established land and they have their rights there and to live. Outside of all the corruption of the governments that run those countries in those continents as well, we can't get away from that. That's my point. Human nature is just human nature. So whether it be African or whatever nationality, there's going to be evil. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm clarifying. You gotta accept it or you don't. That's up to you. But anyway, get to the point of what he's saying again. Let's listen.
That's the same little Arab people did it. They decided that black people is slaves and it's to be named that way. And they have
Wrong. They decided, where's your proof? Tell me, where do you get your evidence that say that Arabs say, all Arabs, Arab people, you said Arab people, say that the African is our slave. And that's it. And you just keep it that way, real vague and everything. And you know you're putting your word out because your emotion is there. Of course, I'm not going to speak for his heart, but from what he's saying, he's not being responsible. He doesn't care what he's saying right now. He's not thinking, oh, maybe I'm being a little bit too vague. Maybe I'm not being specific. Maybe I'm not talking about who I'm talking about. What Arabs are doing this? Whoa. You know, the Mauritanians are considered Arabs. Whoa. Sub-Saharan, good portion. Why? Because the word, if you take the word, and that's another thing. They lack knowledge. They lack knowledge about language and understanding and the meanings of the words. The word Arab derives from the people of the land. The meaning of the people that's from that area of the desert. The Bedouins. Yeah. Don't know. You probably don't even know what a Bedouin is. But anyway, let's listen a little bit more, and then I'll go on critiquing this other person that I said I was going to critique or deal with and speak about, because he made mention about coming into the lands and saying that we deserve to have this land and it is ours, and we need to go in a sense, in another in his words. As you can hear, I'm gonna try to get that, and then I'll finish up.
What you call it? Turn our brothers against our brothers. Okay, in the name of non-tolerance against Christianity. But what I want to say is,
and that's not all with every Muslim. That's the point I'm keep saying, is with this jihad and this stuff and talking about that we're terrorists and that everybody wants to put all the Muslims in the same boat. This is the stuff that they're doing. And then they say and talk and get upset because we get put in the same bowls as African people. African people that we're all about being in the jungles and the stereotypes of us, and that we are Ebola-stricken people. We just mate like animals. We live in poverty. We love living in poverty. And even in the ghettos, we walk around with guns, and we're criminals and all this type of stuff. And we want to rob people. We be on crack with crack addicts, drug addicts. This is the stuff they think about us. Negative stereotypes. They put us all in the barrel. It's all in the same boat. You're doing the same thing about our people, and a good portion of our people are African descendants. Long line, long ways beyond the past points of we trace lineage. Fools, man. You don't, people just fools. When I say fools, and it's not that I'm slandering you and talking negative and disrespecting, but meaning the word itself not having any knowledge enough to be able to talk about what you're talking about. And you're talking with stereotypes, which is another, usually people who are not knowledgeable are those who do also stereotype. Yes. Okay, so let's go into some more. Actually, I'm going to look and see. I'm not going to pass this guy because I'm going to look and try to find this other brother. This other guy, Super Mike.
Which was organized by dirty Arabs and the U.S. government, right? So, which was
organized by dirty Arabs. Look at how he talks. Look at how they talk.
By dirty Arabs. How can we stay in these institutions? How can we hug these institutions that in history it is totally against us?
Depended on America by just acquiring land. So if you could expand on that, then we'll pass it back to Chief, and then Brandon is on. But go ahead, Mike.
All right, let me ask that directly. Number one, when you separate, and Minister Farrakhan, this is the process.
But that's not.
This is the process, guys. It is. Listen, Dynast. Let me ask you this. Let me say it like this, Dynast. Let me say it like this. What you're thinking of, the idea that's popping in your mind when you heard separation, that's not what it is. That's not what it's meant. And that's what I'm trying to get a lot of people to understand. Like, you got to listen to what this meant.
He's talking about what the Nation of Islam is taught, and then these guys found something in the back of the final call, and it talks about the mission of the Nation of Islam to bring the people away from the white man, as they say, the so-called white man, as far as difference of race, and go away with together, segregating themselves in their own lands that they are able to take over, not necessarily violently, but take over where they move there in big amounts of people, and they also able to take over the politics there, and they can control the land more, which hasn't been done and accomplished, and it never really probably won't be without death, because these white supremacists are not going to play with you. They're gonna go to war, and they're gonna fight. They've showed it already. Tulsa, they showed it different situations that when people were just trying to be living in their own places and run businesses and stuff, and they weren't necessarily just for segregation. They was doing that because they wanted to have a better life. And what did they do? What did they do with jealousy, and came in there and started trouble one of them, and then that one got hurt and killed by somebody who was trying to protect themselves, and then they sent a whole lot of them to come in and just burn the place down, kill people, and burn everything as much as they could. It's crazy, and that's happened, and it's gonna always that type of stuff is gonna happen. Is somewhat similar, maybe not as much as like that out in the public, because in the public eye we have different rules and laws that are in place, and a little bit better than those times. But stuff has been happening. Look at the police, what they've been doing. You know what I mean? So come on, let's stop. These guys want to run their mouth. They want viewers, and they want people to be manipulated and blinded to think, okay, yeah, let's go with this pro-black extremism. That's what I'm pretty much going to say. So anyway.
Tell some of y'all, this is what I'm going to tell something. I'm going to give y'all a little bit here, because the Nation of Islam is rolled out in phases. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that the people in the United States will just be the first ones to be lifted up.
Can I ask something?
Go ahead.
Super Mike.
Go ahead. That, so of course you're going to disagree. You see.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Brandon. Unmute yourself.
Of Islam. I've on my channel several times on this channel. I have the Final Call newspaper. It was going to be bought and purchased by the United States as reparations from we want sovereign land that we rule, where we control everything. It has been totally transformed. Give the match to someone who does, or something we can be just like you. And if you,
it seems like it's danced around, or you don't interpret it the right way, or
Dynast, these dudes will burn down.
And so this issue has to be addressed. These people are coming in our community. I found a slave.
Let me just say something.
Brandon, I was in the ministry class under
those people who taught you from the beginning. So that means you're not going to be so smart. You're still going to have slave mentality. All right, let's look at the history, right? Which oppressor did the nation?
About Scientology.
Listen, brother, you asked me what am I talking about.
Scientology.
Listen.
So listen.
This is interesting. Hold on. Let me ask a question.
Very beginning was a light-skinned Arab worshiping cult, and that's exactly what it is even today. You have a mysterious guy named Master Farad Muhammad.
Well, okay. Really much, I'm going to finish up. It's 29 minutes in, and if I keep skimming down and scrolling down, not skimming but scrolling, then I may not get to who it is that I wanted for you to hear about that statement. But this guy, his name is Super Mike 2164. So just listen in on your own, listen to the video on your own, and you will be able to spot the part that he mentions and speaks about how the land over there in Arabia, I think if it's not Saudi Arabia, he says Arabia, and that that land is for us originally, and that we will be able to eventually sometime soon occupy and take that land. Take the land, like occupy it and take it. Sounds no different from the from the oppressors and the colonizers in the world, that the main ones that we know, which were European, right? Just like I said about the sheikh and the scholar, you're going to become the oppressor. This is what Ibn Taymiyyah was mentioning. We're becoming the oppressor, and we don't even realize. And if you go up against it, and especially when it gets real serious and heated, when it's on the ground, that's when it gets real serious and heated. This YouTube stuff is like, this is like playing chess. It's like playing, with a game. We're like in a video game. We're gamers right now. So we can talk junk and everything to each other, but we can't really go in or, jab or bust people, shots into people and all that type of stuff. We can't do that here. Because I can shoot my screen. That's what I can do. I can stab my screen, shank my screen. You know what I mean? Chop my screen with a machete like they're doing in Africa. In certain parts, not all of Africa. Well, don't get me wrong. They're doing it in Haiti. They've done it in Haiti. They've done it in Dominican Republic. These are our people of color. We don't have to really mention the white, because we already know. We talk about that like it's crazy. We talk about it like we're in love with it. Like we're infatuated with talking about the negatives that the European did. We just can't wait to get on the mic and talk about it and run the same thing over and over again. Like, what are you gonna do then? You're gonna go like that brother went into Texas and started popping the cops with a shotgun and stuff? That's what you're gonna do? Be a fool like that? I mean, your mind is getting lost. You don't realize it. You don't realize it. And you better realize it, because you're gonna get just like that brother, man. I can't even make dua for him. He's gone now. He sacrificed his life on basically foolishness. He went on his emotions, and he went from steps of coming up in a black pro-black group. Yeah, look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about. Go and do your research of the guy who went into Dallas. I think it was Houston. Texas. One of those states, the main states in Texas, and went into the city, downtown area, had a shotgun with a scope and everything, and was busting shots on the police that was there, killing them. Well, I don't know if he killed anybody. I think some might have died or something, but they were very badly injured. I know that. Okay? Lost his mind. And he was in a pro-active, a pro-black group, being educated by them, so-called educated. Education is supposed to benefit you, not bring you into hate and anger and we got to get in retaliation. That's not benefiting us. Retaliation is not going to benefit us. Being defensive is going to protect us from, if people are coming against us. Yeah, we have to be defensive. We have to have defense. If these people don't want to stop harming us and they coming at us to harm us, by all means, necessary. Like our brother Malcolm X, with the best of his name that he chose, Malik al-Shabazz, after he became a true Muslim. And some of you guys, you'll try to follow some of his statements, but you don't follow his life, and you won't follow his belief. But yeah, we can take some of his statements. I agree. You pick and choose. That's how some of your people are. You like to pick and choose what you want. You want a pro-black and Pan-African and this, and you want to take pieces and choose what you want to choose. And even with the Muslims, you got to be careful, brothers and sisters. You're involving yourself with this stuff. It's getting too dangerous. Look at what's going on in Africa itself. Just the words are being used. Stuff is being thrown out there. People talking about people till they get too deep. You get in the ground and they start doing it like that girl, Art Cathay. She got herself to a position where somebody violently attacked her. This stuff is not a game. It's not a game. And we need to stop. So that's it. I'm going to leave it there. And may Allah guide us. This is the last of all these videos. I'm not going to do any more on this issue. I'm done and finished. So I hope that you benefited from this. And may Allah guide us correctly. Allahumma ameen. On the path of al-Islam, my brothers and sisters, as Muslim brothers and sisters, and to stay away from the likes of these types of people. Keep learning about yourself. Keep learning about your ancestry. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you don't go too far and you become a nationalist. Be careful. And you don't become like these people. And they become really extreme. So be careful. And they're just that farther from being violent. You get in their face and get into argumentation, they may go to that. Trust me, I know how it goes. I know how we are. You say the wrong thing to somebody that doesn't have a law in place to tell you, no, there's a boundaries and you have to give people their rights and you can't harm a person just because they're saying certain things. They're not those type of people. Muslims are. We're supposed to be. And even some Muslims lose control. I know brothers that came out of jail. They can't just be in a conversation situation like that. Personally, in person between two people, because they might go upside their head. I know brothers like that, but they're at a level with their iman, their faith is not at that level where they can abstain from that and walk away, and without turning their back, of course, because you got to watch yourself. People will stab you in the back. African, American, diasporan, whatever, repat, you will get stabbed in the back. If they go to that level and they lose control of what is called values or standards, because you don't really have none if you're not following behind the one who gave values to mankind. Certain things to do and not to do. Not just instinct. We're not animals. We don't just go for instinct. There's knowledge, intellect that Allah gave us that we go on. That's why we speak. That's why we have language. Language is the communication of that intellect. That's it. Sometimes a lot of times we misuse. That's why the tongue is dangerous too. So watch your mouth, watch the stuff you're saying, be responsible, because, this stuff, whoa. May Allah protect us from it. Allahumma ameen. And may Allah guide the non-Muslims. Ameen. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings, and keep up the lessons. Are you ready? Let's get it.